Hi there, welcome to Black and Blue Garage. I cut this thing off of my Jeep because it's thin and useless. But now, I don't have anything tying my front frame together. So, what am I gonna do? So, I'm thinking about this, and there are a couple of people that make a bumper so that you can put a winch right in there. I'm gonna try to make my own. Now, I got this winch plate from Harbor Freight. It was pretty cheap. I got it on a discount because I had a coupon. So I'm thinking that if I put this here, I could use it to brace the steering and mount the winch all at once. That got heavy really fast. So I got my engine hoist on here just so I could look and see where I kind of want this. This full-size winch, 1,300 pounds, fits perfectly between this frame and the inside of this steering box. And if I set it up like that, the edge of this side of this plate almost meets up with the outside of this frame stiffener. That is like really lucky. So even if there's a gap between the edge of this and the edge of this frame stiffener, I can put some angle iron right there and stiffen that right up. So next is to see where exactly, how close to my crank pulley I can afford to put this, and or how far forward I can afford to put that, for that matter. And we'll start cutting some reliefs for my pitman arm and the frame on both sides, and we can get this pretty much tacked in. It's looking like if I cut a little bit off this side to account for the frame and the steering, and I cut a little bit off of this side for account for the frame, this whole winch and winch mounting plate will slide in and it can be welded into place really easy. And then I just make a bracket for the steering, and when I go to build my bumper, I just build the bumper around it. Oh, I've got the fiberglass blanket to protect my winch line while I'm making these cuts. Eyeball measure the other side, right about there. That's looking pretty good. So, okay. Well, would you look at that? I get my whole hand in between the steering pump and the winch on that side. I get almost my whole hand in there. 1,300 pound Zeak winch in the front of a Jeep Cherokee or a Jeep Comanche. That is awesome. Now I just got to figure out a way to mount this on the sides and get it all welded in. I'm going to figure out a way to brace this steering box to the actual winch plate itself, and that'll be good to go. And you know what else is neat? My battery power comes into the engine bay right there. My winch wires are right here. My winch control box is sit right on top of this and have wires come to the winch control box, and then the power wire come right inside there, and the ground wire meet up with the ground wire of the engine. So that is pretty cool. So now that I have this set up how I want it, and I know I have room on both sides, I can take the winch off the winch plate and start working on fastening this to the frame permanently. something that's annoying, well, ingenious really, but annoying still about Winch, either Winch hardware or this Winch hardware specifically, and that is they've got these square nuts that kind of slide in there, and then the bolts go through and catch those square nuts. If these fall out, like about a month ago, I had one of these fall out and I lost it for a solid week. And I finally swept up the whole shop and dug through the pile of dirt to find it. That was really annoying, but I guess it's a good idea, because if you ever strip out the threads, you go get yourself another square nut like that, and you're back in business. Now, if you've seen some of my other videos, you know I like to use this sidewalk chalk to mark everywhere that's painted that I don't want to be painted. That way I could go with my sander or my flap disc and sand off everywhere I've marked with chalk. And then once that's done, it'll be ready to weld in. Alright, well, I still need to finish weld the winch plate, but that is pretty much what I'm going for. I have enough room to work with the belt, to maintenance the belt. My hookups are right next to the battery terminal. It's pushed back far enough to be behind the grill, so the bumper will stick out about an inch and protect the fair lead and the hook. And also, it sits high enough to where it's flush with the bottom of the frame. I guess I lucked out, because this is exactly what I had in mind. Let me know what you think in the comments. And when I build the bumper, I'll build a little cavity right here to protect the hook and the fair lead. Don't forget, subscribe, ring the notification bell. Who welded this?